Hello everybody. Sorry for delayed upload today. I was actually scrolling through Reddit looking for stories for this one, but I got caught up looking at dogs and cats. I'm not kidding, like 90% of my feed on Reddit is just dogs and cats. Anyway, so today we're reading from Talesfromretail. Let's get into this. The first story is by user Aaron W. Title of the story is Customer That Just Had to Pay Cash. Oh boy, let's get into this. Happened to me years ago. My first part-time job in university that I recently got reminded me of. It was quite fun. Rarely did we have any problems with customers due to very specific business where most were in a very good mood. Apologies, I'm having a little bit of trouble reading. We had this subscription service where you could pay monthly fee for a card that got you huge discounts if you were a frequent customer. It was beyond a good deal. These discounts had a few minor restrictions, however, nothing crazy, but got many customers confused. Usually we just explained it to them and they were fine with it. One such restriction was you can't pay with cash in our country, and especially at our location. Cash is such a rare occurrence that for an average transaction handling it costs more than the card service fees. Ooh. Then one day comes the angry customer. It was the last shift. I was supposed to close in 10 minutes, and as you likely figured out already, he wants to pay with cash using a discount card. I told him he can't explain the policy, and he told me he didn't care. And basically, we went back and forth for a few minutes. Finally, my manager arrives to count my till for closing, walks over to the customer and asks, "What's the problem?" They repeat what I repeat what I said, and they repeat what I said, and just tells them he can pay either with card, pay with cash without discounts, or leave because we're closing. He finally chose option one. Why'd you even argue when you had the card on you? I asked him to touch terminal with his card, and then he decides to push my manager away with his arm. My manager said nothing, smiled, counted my till, and I was on my way. That was strange. It was strange because she's not one to take this lightly. I expected hell to break loose. However, when I was checking the next weekend, she pulled me away and told me that she contacted corporate and not only canceled his card, but also banned him from all locations countrywide, along with a nice email about how grateful he should be that she's not pressing charges for assault. Ooh. Yikes. Ooh. Yeah, no, I would probably be one of the. I probably would have. Yeah, I probably would have banned him from as many stores as I could have, the customer, for pushing me if I was in the manager position, because fuck you, you put your hands on me, I'm gonna attempt to get my revenge as best as I can. Anyways, on to the next story. This story was posted by NG Ataria. Not even gonna try to pronounce it fully, I'm just gonna say it like that. Anyway, so this story's title name is I Just Needed My Pen Back. Tales from the Post Office. Long story, let's get into this. I was just recently reminded of this story and thought it might fit here. A bit of backstory. Up until a few years ago, I ran a retail business which had started out its life as a video store in a quiet rural town, but over the years it became more a general store as we acquired local businesses that were about to close down, the local post office being the main one in the story. We'd taken it over when it was about to shut down, as it was no longer profitable as a standalone business. Our two dedicated post counters were always slammed every Christmas, and I don't know what it was about the particular Christmas, but for some reason our customers were more irate than usual and prone to taking their frustration out on my staff. Yikes. As per usual, we had massive queues and had one staff member on our general computers, which did the video side as well as straight retail transactions, calling out for anyone just purchased items to get them out of the long queues. Anyone doing overseas sending, paying bills, or doing car registrations had to come to the two post counters. So many people were in the store filling out forms, so this particular day, all the pens were gone, walkabout apart from each other at the counters for staff use, which we were keeping a close eye on. We needed our pens to finish filling out our customs forms and car registration forms. Transactions could not be completed if we didn't have a pen. Customer and his wife get to the top of my queue, and they have a car registration form which they need help filling in. I gave them my pen while saying with a smile, "This is my only pen, so when you're finished with it, I need it back. Otherwise, I can't proceed your form. I need a pen to finish filling in the form out." He smiles and nods, and I help him complete the form. I then ask him nicely for my pen back. The customer did a complete 180. I can only assume the drugs he was on suddenly kicked in. He snarled at me and started to aggressively say something, so I kindly reminded him I couldn't process the rest of his transaction unless I had my only pen back. He raised his arm, threw the pen at my head while screaming, "Have your freaking pen back!" The pen bounced off my face while I stood there dumbstruck, and he pushed his way through the incoming crowd of customers and stormed off while all chatter in the store just died. I remember looking up, seeing customers just stare at me while his wife stood there flabbergasted before apologizing profusely to me. I gathered my wits, finished off the transaction, managing a smile at her as it wasn't her fault, and politely told her to have a nice day as she slunk out of the store embarrassed. Naturally, every customer after this asked me why he yelled at me. I just said I asked for my pen back, with a shrug. The unintended side effect from him yelling at me was that every customer who was in store suddenly managed to find their kindness and patience and treat the staff really well for the next half hour or so. Lol. But I think the most amazing was that this guy actually came back a week or so later and apologized for his action that day, which was incredibly rare. That didn't stop us from banning him and his wife 6 months later when they got caught shoplifting from us by a staff member. Ooh. I don't really have a comment on that point about the whole having stuff thrown back at your face, because I'm lucky and I just carry around like 5 million pens in my pocket. Everywhere I go, every time I step outside, I always make sure to have at least like 3 pens, mechanical pencils, using mechanical pencils because I like mechanical pencils more than regular pencils. But yeah, so I've never had someone like throw something back in my face. I've never worked retail. But I have been yelled at by random people before. So I can relate to that, I guess. Yeah. But from the sounds of it, your store is basically, at the end of this, it's going to take over the entire town you live in. Because you have the post office, you have, I assume, at least 2 other stores that were closing down. And then you got your store. On the low end, that's 4 stores. And you said you were that you originally were a video store, but now you're also a post office and whatever the 2 other stores were, making you somewhat of a general store. Ooh. Yeah, so basically by like the by like the next decade or so, you're probably gonna have like by like an entire town under your business. You see here, this entire town, we own it. You see that building over there that sells cars? That's ours. You see that building? You see that stand over there selling lemonade? That's ours. You see that post office? That's ours. Basically, you're gonna be running the town. Anyways, thank you all for watching. Have a good day, night, evening, afternoon. Bye.